It's 7 o'clock. Should I start?
Yes, please.
Okay. So good evening, everyone. It's very nice to welcome you to this HerStory program today. It's very nice to be here, and especially because I'm going to introduce a dear friend of WFWP Spain and also Europe, actually. Carmen Magallon Portoles, that's her complete name. I met Carmen for the first time in 2004 when we had a sisterhood event between Jewish women and Arab women in Madrid. And I was looking for speakers, and I found her organization actually, which is called I don't know if I translate well, but I translated into Seminary for the Research of Peace, or the Research of Peace Seminary. It's a foundation, and so I found Carmen, and I invited her to be one of the speakers, and she very graciously accepted to come, and we were happy to hear her talk about peace and peace between Arab and Jewish women. Um, she she has been a contact, a friend, but we lost a little bit. Actually, we lost contact for some time, and I decided to write to her, and she responded. And immediately I was able to invite her to another of our events, which took place in Cyprus. So actually, Carmen, our knowing of each other, our friendship has lasted for 20 years, more or less, since 2004, 21, 22 years, more or less. And all right, and then from her testimony about her Cyprus experience, I realized she had a beautiful experience there. And you made good friends, right, Carmen? I can remember you relating very well with our friend Sara Sonhua and also Anaís Vega. They were very happy to meet you and exchange with you there, and some others actually. There is a lot we can say about Carmen. She is a professor of physics and chemistry, and she has delved into the relationship between science and women, and about many peace movements all over the world. Actually, what I found very interesting when I found it is that Carmen wrote several books, and one of them was about, let me see if I find it's Women on Foot for Peace. That's the translation of her book. And that book is still today like a Bible for me, because it talks about all women's peace movements that have existed even in the 19th century, right? And so that is so full of information and very rich of information for us who belong to a women's movement for peace. So Carmen is also the trustee of an organization that is called the League of Women for Peace, right? And she is still the director for the seminary that does research for peace, the Foundation Research for Peace Seminary. So Carmen has a lot to tell us, and she's going to share about her trajectory, her professional trajectory, and if personal, if you like, you can also say anything about your personal life. I know you are married, you have a son that he lives in Germany. He is married and you have a grandchild. So
Yeah.
very happy, Carmen, to be here with you and looking forward to hearing your testimony, actually, about your contribution to peace. So welcome. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. And thank you to the Women's Federation for World Peace International for inviting me to contribute to this series of women's stories. And in particular to Marcia, who has shown great perseverance in organizing this event. I confess that talking about my story makes me feel somewhat shy, but I try to put that aside because I believe it is important for women to tell our stories and recognize each other as this, because this is a way of growing and gaining social authority, two ways of influences society. In this case, influencing the advancement of a culture of peace. As you can see, my English is not perfect, let's say. Okay, so I will share one presentation because it's the way to show better what I want to share with you. Yes. Back to my story. I was born many years ago in this beautiful small village. It's a village of about 15,000 people. And as a child, I listened to my grandmother's tell stories about the Spanish Civil War. In 1938, my village was bombed in the middle of the Civil War. And my family was affected by both sides of the conflict. One of the brothers of my grandmother, who was a priest, was shot because he was a priest, was shot by one of the sides, and her sister, one of her sisters, had to go to exile when the war finished because it was linked to the other side. So my grandmother's stories on the Spanish Civil War planted seeds of pacifism in me. The conviction that war was the worst tragedy a society could suffer. So I have always had a passion for studying. Yes, this is the question that I can share. This is me as a child, and this is me having the dress of being doctor. The color of my dress is for the scientific doctors. The others, he is the Federico Mayor Zaragoza, who was the director of the UNESCO, the former director, who passed away, and others. Well, but my family couldn't afford to pay for my studies, so I always studied with the support of a scholarship. I arrived at the university in the 17th. That was the final years of the dictatorship, and I participated in the intense student movement for democracy in my country. There, at the University of Zaragoza, I graduated in physics with good grades. Previously, I studied in Teruel, who is the capital of my region, and I was living in a board mm, mm, because my family was not there. I had to be in a board school, so 7 years, internal, vamos. Well, my job, because my teachers were so magnificent, I wanted to become teacher. And I was a teacher in a secondary school for 20 years. I was also a lecturer at the University of Zaragoza. And I became the director of the SIP Foundation, a Center for Peace Research, which is an institution associated with the United Nations, the civil society. So I attended several times the New York assemblies of civil society. Well, I became involved in the peace movement in the 80s. That were the years of the Cold War and the Cold War between the West and the East. And we were in the middle of these problems, the deployment of SS-Ben 20, the invasion of Afghanistan, the NATO, Euro missiles. And so in my city, we had an American military base, and we thought we were a nuclear target. As a generation, we came from the struggle against dictatorship, and we had just become a democracy at the end of the 70s. So, moreover, I had the seeds of pacifism planted by my grandmothers in my childhood. So, I became involved in the peace movement in 1982. There was an appeal by United Nations, and we began to organize this movement. I will pass my slides quick because I have a lot, so I hope. So we organized kind of this movement to symbolize the destruction of a bomb. And one of the things that was very impressive for us was the Berlin Wall, no? This situation of one. So well, in fact, there was recently an exhibition in Madrid, and I was part of the exhibition because I took part on this movement against the division of Europe. In fact, because I was a physicist, I attended the conventions for nuclear disarmament in Europe. It was like the beginning of the movement. This is a photo taken in Berlin in 1983. And it's the first time I listening to talk about the unification of the two Germanys. She is Petra Kelly, he is Gerbastian. And so in these days we organize this human chain. And our motto was neither with the East nor with the West. We wanted to be united. And this human chain was between the embassies of Moscow and Lisbon to symbolize that Europe must stand united. This is me, so young, with this long hair. So, yes. So, coming back to my city, in my city, we organize what we call a bridge for peace, a human chain from Zaragoza, my city, to the USA military base, 15 kilometers. And we did it, this chain, with many people coming from all over the country. 25 people took part on this action, the 29 May 1983. So I also attended other European Convention for Nuclear Disarmament. I knew there in Perugia, Italy, in 1984, I met the women of Greenham Common Camp in the UK. And they proposed a protest campaign to be carried out by women against NATO maneuvers. So we organized in Zaragoza also a women's peace camp this autumn. And the question is, before men left home to go to the war, now women are leaving home to make peace. And we organized this camp. That was 10 days, 10 million women leaving home for peace. We discussed, we organized workshops, and that was a very good experience, within networks among women. So this is the camp with the children. We organized march. Also in 1986, in my country, in Spain, we organized a referendum to go out from NATO because we didn't want to be part of a military alliance. Well, 10 million people votes no, but the continuity with NATO won the referendum. That's true. We also create the magazine En Pie de Paces on Food for Peace. This is one magazine who has been since 1986 to 2001 without any support, just voluntary work. These are my colleagues, women from the magazine on Food for Peace. Wonderful friends from different cities, Madrid, Barcelona, Sevilla, Zaragoza. Then in the 90s, I met Women in Black Against War. This group, Women in Black Against War. I attended also several international meetings there. For instance, this is in Italy, in Marina di Massa. I think this lemma is today is necessary. Let's take war out of history. We have to work for this. We are working. So women in black were important, and they, for us, they came to Spain, and we tried to support them in Belgrade. was created in Israel in January 1988. Maybe this movement is very important. And they dressed it in black and in silence. They wanted to show their opposition to the occupation. Yeah. And then some other groups in the war of ex-Yugoslavian. So this is actions. They say traditionally women dress in black after the death of a loved one. We dress in black to mourn the deaths of so many victims, known and unknown, in all the wars. The Women in Black network spread throughout the world, forming an international women's movement. Then, are actions, symbolic actions. Always women put in practice these women in black, so symbolic actions under the slogan, not in my name. For instance, not in my name is the word of these leaders. So in Spain, still there are, but I confess that I'm not in contact these last years with them. Meanwhile, in the 90s, I finished my doctoral thesis on women in science. As Marcia told at the beginning, my doctoral thesis, Spanish pioneers in science. I studied these women who became scientists at the beginning of the century in Spain, the first third of the century, 20th century. And that was wonderful to meet some of them in her 90s. And they asked me, why do you know so many things about me? And I told them, I was looking for in the magazines, in the research papers, but the others didn't see you. I could see you, but always women's contribution are not very well recovered. Well, in these studies, I went to the USA. I went to the Smith College, one of the university's only women, which is in Massachusetts. And I discovered I deep in the international movement who began in the late 19th century. That was wonderful, that fascinated me, discovering that women were organized in three big organizations: the International Council of Women, the first, then the Alliance for Suffrage, the suffragists, and the last one, which was the International League for Peace and Freedom. And all of these organizations of women were great advocates for peace. These are some of my women, the first Spanish women doctorates in chemistry and so on. The female intellectuals in the Silver Age of Spanish science. So we have had many, many events around these women to visualize them. Then I discovered the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. One of my former students sent me a book called Pioneers for Peace, and I decided I want to be part of this this organization, international organization. I was fascinated, I thought, to learn about this historic milestone, the birth of WILF in the Congress in 1915. They met in The Hague, and while the men of their countries were killing each other, they were able to meet and to propose 20 resolutions to try to stop the war and to stand for a permanent peace. They knew each other because they were suffragists from different countries, from Europe, and also from the United States. So they say, we are gathering here because we want to protest against war which destroys the achievements of civilization and also the lives of so many young people. So I want to. Sorry. I want to put this short video to show you quick. Well, the thing is that an historic organizations, because it's yours and others know, and it's important to know the work of what women have done in history. So,
Carmen, just to let you know, you have about 3 minutes to go.
Okay.
Yes, if you want to wrap up with the most important thing that you want to share.
Yes, we decided on June 10, 2011, a group of women from different cities met in Madrid, and we founded with Spain. I was elected president. So this is, I want to share also that recently, October 2025, with Spain organized in Brussels, a women's camp to influence the European Parliament. We were talking in the European Parliament in favor of talking about what was happening in Gaza. We were very worried about this killing of women, children, and so on. No, in Brussels, we were there for 10 days. Finally, I want to share my links with the Women's Federation for World Peace, and that was, I first met Marcia Dabreu and the organization in Wellington, in a Wellington hotel in Madrid in 2004. This is me also. And also, this is Cyprus 2023. Mhm. Last but not least, I want to emphasize that I have a family that supports me in life. And that's all. Thanks for listening and thanks for working for peace. That's all.
Thank you, Carmen. Thank you for sharing uh, your interest, your main interest in life, which is to contribute to peace. And now we have some ideas about you, and we open the floor for questions, which I would like were written on the chat. And I will be picking up the questions from the chat. While people start to write down their questions or comments, I would like to ask my own question to you. And that is, it's true that at the time when you started taking a position for peace movements, there was the Cold War was there, and there was this confrontation in the world, which was very evident. And so you, together with the international movement for peace, organized by women, you tried to do something to contribute to peace, to have people to discuss, to have men discuss, even participating in The Hague, in that important conference, proposing with your proposals for peace so that they would not continue war. Because the war had started in 1914, right? And that was in 1915. And so that was the context we had there. And so would you be able to say briefly, because we want to also hear more questions to you, but would you be able to share with us a little bit about the moment we are living now? What do you think about this moment? What kind of confrontation we have, and how do you think we could contribute to bringing people together and being able to see each other as different but still acceptable? And so what can we do? What your opinion is very important for us as a women's movement for peace.
Yes, thank you, Marcia, because your question is very important. I think I am in shock watching what is happening in the world nowadays. So unfortunately, we are repeating questions that we have seen before in history, and the moment is similar, very similar to what happened in the Cold War. For instance, the increasing of spending money in the arms race, no? Increasing the spending, and is very worried. Is very worried. In fact, I said this written in my papers that what we need today, women's voices are more necessary than ever. We need to make visible this legacy of women who have worked for peace in the middle of the disasters, in the middle of situations similar as what we have today. Nowadays, war is presented as normal. As normal is not normal. War is not normal. And they are the spending on weapons, including nuclear weapons. So we have to be aware that if nuclear weapons and, for instance, killer robots, the robot killer who are autonomous, not only automatic, but autonomous to decide to whom to kill, the future of humanity is in danger. So we have to do something. So we women from different countries, from different organizations, we have to visibilize our voice for peace, for peace.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you, Carmen. Yes. I have a question coming here for you. Is Spanish youth involved in peace movements nowadays?
Spanish, ¿cómo?
Is Spanish
Sorry.
youth, la juventud,
Youth.
youth.
Unfortunately, I cannot say that JAWS is involved, or maybe it's involved in a different manner that we were. So, because JAWS today is more
Youth.
organized through the screens, and maybe they are, but I realize that they are more worried about the climate change, and maybe we have to link climate change with disaster that can produce a war. A war. Can the planet can be destroyed. So so this is a challenge for us to link these movements, because Jaus is I think is worried about the planet.
Thank you. There are more questions here. One is, are you finding, oops, it moved, just a second. Are you finding young women are you finding young women who can carry this work forward, the work for peace?
So, as you know, because this is also a problem for every organization, that is difficult to pass the testigo. How is
The baton to pass the mission.
the mission is difficult. It's difficult because I don't know. These days I'm
Will
not.
you excuse me, Carmen? I just need to ask whoever is speaking and is not and should not be heard now to mute. There is someone that needs to silence. Thank you. Okay, go on. Sorry.
I don't know in other countries. In this country, young people is not so involved as we were at my generation, your generation, no? It's not so involved, or maybe, no, that's a problem. We have to recognize, to be aware, and to think how the solutions, no?
Yes.
We know some young people, but young women are worried about their the jobs they have to make a career. And so, I don't know.
Yes. Instead of me going on, I could go on reading questions, but if any of you has a question or a comment, you can raise your little hand and I can look for you so that other voices will be heard.
Yeah.
So
you can unmute yourselves.
Yes, and you can raise your hand and
Tina.
oh, well, not me now.
I just wanted to say thank you to Carmen. I admire her. I am from Zaragoza and I know her very well. And I know she has worked very hard to be one woman who defends peace in a big way. So congratulations, Carmen. And I know that in Spain you are a very well-known woman, full of talent, and full of energy. I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina.
Thank you, Christina. So the question is that we have you and me. This is like you are a very good friend. So I want to. I was thinking about those people, and for instance, I have been close to Colombian women, no, in the peace process in this country, Colombia. For instance, in Colombia, there are many young women who are working for peace. So we have to think in the whole world, in the whole world, and maybe other countries who are not so, let's say, old like us. So our countries, we don't have so many young people. But I remember when I went to the summit of the for pushing the peace process in Colombia, there were 350 organizations, plenty of women and young women. So that's important. Let's open our eyes. So you have people in many countries, no, Marcia? Sí.
We have representatives, but we are getting older. We need to conquer the young people.
Yes, that's
Yes, to involve them more.
yes, that's true.
Anybody else would have a question? Or I can keep reading things here on the chat, but it would be nice if you could say something. Jenny Lambert. Yes, Jenny.
See. Oh, there you go. I've just been able to unmute. Am I unmuted now?
Yes, you can.
Yeah,
You can
I
ask
am.
the question.
Okay, yes. So anyway, I'm speaking from France, and thank you very much for this very, very inspiring talk, and also the history of this women's movement that I didn't know at all. Okay, I'm straight on their X account now, so to follow them. But my question is, how do you think we can get more women involved in negotiations, peace negotiations? Because when we see peace negotiations, we only see men. We never see women. So how, this also is kind of connected to the situation of the United Nations at the moment. You know, how much the United Nations you feel is fulfilling their founding, ambitions and giving a platform to women to directly take part in these peace negotiations. Because obviously, women's approach and women's perspective on things has so much to contribute, but there still seems to be a real barrier to this happening, on a large scale. I don't know what you feel about that.
Thank you, Jenny. Jenny, no? Yes.
Yes, yes.
That's important. That's important. And you know that in the year 2000, the Security Council approved this resolution 1325 to involve, to hear women voices in the peace processes. And later, other resolutions push it in the same way. But that's important that women become part of the peace processes, because it's demonstrated that when women participate, the peace is last more, is more deep, and they put on the table questions, different questions, for instance, education, for instance, the ways of living after the war, and many things. So it's very important. For this reason, we have to support the United Nations. You know that they are suffering these days also because some leaders are against the United Nations. So we have to raise our voice also for the United Nations as an important organization. This is the structure that we built in the past to deal with our conflicts between countries. And nowadays there is this opportunity to have a secretary general woman, a woman secretary general, because Antonio Gutierrez, who is the actual Secretary General, is finishing their mandate. And maybe the women's organization have to raise our voice and say we want a woman's Secretary General of the United Nations.
Thank you. I have a few other people who would like to ask you. Maybe Celestine Fonke, who has raised her hand here. Would you like to ask your question, Celestine?
Yes, please. Thank you, Marcia. And thank you, Carmen. I really appreciate the very fruitful and inspiring presentation. I'm originally from Cameroon. I've been living in Switzerland for over 23 years. And also an activist like you. Your pictures and the videos actually is bringing out my activism and the peace process you narrated and the action I saw, the women even going for camping. It's amazing. I would take us back a bit to Africa and want to find out what are we doing wrong in such a peace process. You get to talk, you get conferences, you come up with resolutions, you push them through, and they are being replaced with other policies. And the families keep crying, young girls are being abused and raped. And in my country, for instance, I have a lot of them we are trying to manage. But I want to ask, what are we really doing wrong that the men who sit on decision table ignore some of the cries of the elderly women who started? I took over from my grandmom and mom, and now I'm above 50, and my children are going to 20, and still yet we are not having a means for our voices to be heard. Perhaps your exchange tonight will give me another way of doing what I'm doing that I think maybe is wrong with my NGO or with my friends back in Africa. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Celestine. Yes, I know that in some countries the situation is worse than in others, no? But for instance, we have this violence against women all over the world. Even in countries our country, men kill women, and it's true that it's difficult for organizations to maintain the organization without funding, and the funds. I know that, for instance, our organization they are suffering because money is going to weapons.
Yeah.
And some countries who supported the NGOs, now they are dedicating this money for the weapons and rearm and so on. It's for this reason that we need to look for funding for our organization. And if I see the history in the past, for instance, these women who wanted to go to the universities that they were close to them, some rich woman decided to leave her money to the university if the university opened the doors for women. So we have to approach these rich women or just sympathetic with our movements and try to convince them that put the money to work in favor of the good ideas. Because what is happening these days is that there are these rich men, who are pushing through the networks and through their the nets and these applications in favor of ideas, bellicist, and so we have to know that that is happening. And in Africa, I guess it's difficult because I know some of my colleagues in Ghana. I've been in Ghana, and I know it's difficult. Nowadays, I don't know if I can say more.
Thank you so much for giving me an idea. It's nice to work with a network of some powerful women too. It might be a bridge to get into decision areas. Thank you so much. Appreciate.
Thank you. I have another question here for you. It's true that you have touched a little bit on this, but nevertheless, I want to read the question. Coming from Giselle Maria, based on your perspective, what kind of actions will be necessary to influence the next generations on stopping the wars and nuclear weapons?
Yes, I think that we have to show them two ways. One is the disaster, what happened in the former wars, the disasters, so many deaths. And it's difficult that they felt what we felt when our grandmothers explained it, the disaster, but they have to know, to be aware that what's happening. But not only that, because if we only show them, the young people, the disaster, they became cynic. I said, but we cannot do anything. We have to show them the voices of peace also, the efforts in the history, the efforts in the present. And what I am saying now, I discovered with my students. So I discovered with my students. And you can do it, and it's important to organize, for instance, exhibitions. For us, has been important we made an exhibition of the Women's International League history in the past, and we put the exhibition at the universities, and we are invited in schools to talk with the young people, and this is the way to show them what these former women did in the past. Because the young women need to have models, and to discover that women, we are not only victims, because the media, the press, always are explaining that women are victims of violence, no, not only victims. We have been important in the past. We are with our different thinking to confront conflicts, with our effort, with our organizations. And I discovered this is important, that young women feel like, we had models.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you, Carmen. Thank you. Let me see, it seems there is another question here. No, that's being already asked you. So is there any other question that any of you would like to ask Carmen? We have 5 minutes to go, and so we still have time for one more question, not very long.
I want to say that it is important to show models of scientists, women in the past, to attract women to science.
I want to ask one question. Is the movement, Black, the one that you showed, is this still existing?
The Black, sorry?
Yeah, the Black movement, yeah. Because I saw they
Black
had
women.
a lot of Black women, sorry. Yeah.
What I can say to you, Celestine, that in the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom, there are some episodes, some conflicts inside of the organization. We had two important leaders, Black leaders in the past. But one of the episodes is one day some of European women told that Black soldiers were raping white women. And so these colleagues were spoke and they say, we have been raped by whites, by blacks, by everybody. So this is not the way to talk about and to promote this racist way. So important discussions.
Yeah. I don't know if you were asking about Black women or women in black.
No, not Black women, women in black.
Women in
the
black.
movement.
Oh, I made a mistake, yeah.
Yeah, I was asking about the movement, if it's still existing.
Women in black, they are...
Yeah, women in black, yeah.
Women in black, they are still existing. Here in Spain, we have a group in Madrid, a group in Valencia. Tomorrow, I will go to Castellón, that is close to Valencia. And for instance, in this camp organized in Brussels this last October, we invited the Women in Black Against War to participate, and they participated with us in this. So, yes, they are still.
I'd like to get in touch. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for your participation, Celestine.
You're welcome.
And well, it's almost 8 o'clock, and we would like to thank Carmen for sharing about all these important moments in your history, your story, actually, of doing something for peace. We are very proud of being your friend, Carmen, and having you as our friend. And we want to continue doing things together. Definitely, yes. We need to continue this discussion about how to bring peace, because in the end it comes to the individual, how to raise individual people who are peaceful, right? So anyways, thank you very much. And God bless your work, and God bless everyone here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Carmen.
Thank you, Marcia. And I hope that we together, we will be working together. It doesn't matter if you belong to one organization or to another. We are women for peace, and we will work together for peace. Thank you, Marcia. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Carmen.
Yeah, Carmen. Bye.
Thank you, Carmen. Bye-bye.
Adiós. Adiós, Marcia.
Adiós.
Adiós. Bye-bye.
Adiós.